All right.
What's the topic again?
We're going to do one more week of Ohnaah. We've been doing that. This is now will be the third week of it. Just want to wrap up some of the discussions here. So first of all, there is an interesting discussion in the Paiskim. There's a Gemara in Bava Metzia that suggests that the nature of the Yisro Ohnaah is Gzela. The Gemara says that why did the Torah have to write a separate lav for Ohnaah if it had Gzela anyway, or a separate lav for Gzela if it had Ohnaah anyway? And the Gemara makes a tzrichusa between the two. Why you need this or not this Gzela. But the very fact that the Gemara is asking this question is very revealing about the way the Gemara views it. That when you trick someone and you make a mechira where you're taking more than you're supposed to be taking for this sale, or you're buying something off someone that you're taking advantage of, taking a good sale, that money that you're holding is Gzela. The Gemara seems to be comparing it in a very strong way. This is the chayra basis for Rambam. The Rambam says there's no malchus for Ohnaah. Why is there no malchus for Ohnaah? For the lav of Ohnaah, someone tricks someone into giving them a good deal on something that's a bad deal for the person who he tricked. So it's a lav in the Torah. Why should you not get malchus as lav in the Torah? Zok the Rambam, because it's nitin lehishavim. The same way there's a halacha by gzela, you don't get malchus when you steal, because since you can on some level fix the lav that you did by returning it. So who did by Ohnaah, since it's nitin l'shavin, you could return the stuff the extra amount you took. There is no lav for it. Now the question is, nitin l'shavin, if you out of the kindness of your heart decide to return something, that doesn't make it a lav that you don't get malchus for. It has to be what's called the lav hanitik. Let's say it has to be that there's a chiv in the Torah to return this thing. Where's the chiv in the Torah? Oh, very good. So there you go. So the Torah says the answer is because since it's doimed to gazela, the heishav is gazela asher gazel. The same way the Torah said by gazela you have to return it, by Ohnaah you have to return it. But that again means that we're looking at the money, the extra money that you got, as stealing. You're holding onto something shaloi kedin and you're returning it the same way you have to return something that you stole. You have to return gazela. That's a very big chiddush. Now there's two lashonos in the way the Paiskim say over this Torah. The Beis Yosef says, make sure I get the sheet is right. 1 second. Beis Yosef says, Pirish on this Torah should doim el alav d'lo sigzol. It's doim to lav d'lo sigzol. It's similar to it, and just like the Torah said by the lav d'lo sigzol, return it. It sounds like from the Beis Yosef, Memela we make a tsustal from there to the lav of Ohnaah that you're supposed to return it. But it's not mamish gazela. It's doim to lav of gazela. Other place, and the Bach says the Bach's lashon is that since I have it here. So the Smaz lashon is. It says he brings us the exact lashon. Since you don't get malchus for gzeil because you l'shavin, so you don't get malchus for.
It can't be like makab klemer that if the worst part is gzeil and you're giving it back, you don't get malchus. Then obviously this you don't get malchus.
I don't know if you make that kal v'chaymer. Maybe that could be what the Beis Yosef means. Doim gzeil. First of all, I think you're right that it could be means, but it's just a little bit of a stretch because it could be nitin l'shavin is even. Because it's more chomer, that's why we tell you have to give it back. It's true that as far as malchus goes, the fact that it's nitin l'shavin makes it lighter that you don't get malchus. But the point is, what it is in and of itself, in a vacuum, is the Torah telling you must give this back. So it could be because gazela is more chomer, that's why you have to give it back. Oh, that's not more chomer, maybe you don't have to give it back, midraisa. That would cause you to get malchus, so it makes it worse in a way, but you don't have to give it back also.
So maybe if you don't give it back, you do get malchus.
Right, but that also means you don't have to give it back. So if a guy's wanted to say, hey, I'll take the malchus, I don't have to give it back, or let's say you do a b'shogeg, so you're not going to get malchus, right? It's a softer, I think the way you looked at it is, the kula is not having to give it back. It creates a chumrah in the sense you get malchus, but the kula is not having to give it back. But this is a machlekes, possibly a machlekes between the Beis Yosef and the Sma. The Sma is saying the lashon literally, it's mamish gazela, and the Beis Yosef just says that it's doime the gazela. Sorry, Chaim Cohen wants to make a potential nafkamina on this. Let's say by Ohnaah, let's say the guy charges 6. So you come back, you tell the guy, I'm sorry, I just realized I overcharged you a 6, or even more than a 6. But let's say the case of a 6 where it's easier. So the din is you're supposed to return the money to him. It's like, I'd like to give you back the $5, the 6 that I overcharged you. Guy says, I'm Michael, it's fine, forget it. Is that good enough? Just saying I'm Michael, is that enough that now you're done, you're finished with this whole thing? By Gezela, you can't just be Michael the Gezela. If I stole something with you, the guy can't say, oh, I'm Michael the Chiyav Yishali. Where's the Kenyan? You have to be makna to the guy, you have to be mafkirat, and he has to be kainit. You can't just be Michael.
That has to be done before it happens.
Yeah, the Mechila done as for but once it happened and I'm holding your money, that's Gezela, I can't be Michael. It's a big shaila by Ribbis if you could be Michael. There's three things that always go together. Gezela, Ohnaah, and Ribbis are discussed in the Gemara as one. By Ribbis, it's a big shaila if you could be Michael. There's a rush about it. But no one discusses it by Ohnaah, huh?
I was just wondering if we're going to get into the money lending situation.
What about money lending?
The questions on money lending, how that works.
What if it is it no? We discussed it a little bit last time. I actually meant to get into it. Maybe we'll get to it. Let's. I want to get to some other things first. You want to know if the market for money lending is 8% and you're lending at 23%. You know, is that enough?
Huge. I know.
Right. Is that a potential enough? I don't think so, but potentially. Yeah.
Well, that's also. I wasn't listening to the full thing, but I know that's obviously not enough because
He's trying to say, "Are you over Ohnaah every
no,
day?"
but that's the market cash. Right, but that's the market cash. That's what I'm saying.
We're just baiting you. You heard it.
I knew where you were going. And I think it's a stupid thing.
I think you're right. I do not think there's Ohnaah on it, but I don't know if I want to address it directly right now because I'm focused on other things right now. But maybe we'll get there. We'll go. Anyway, okay, that's an interesting enough community that Chaim wants to have between the shitas. Can you be Michael the sixth of Ohnaah? If it's mamish gezela, it should be like daimel gezela. You can't be Michael. You have to be maknet. If it's just daimel gezela, then maybe you could be Michael.
The way we've been learning before this week, it sounds like you could, because it sounds like that the makaf
At a
is
six.
that
That's
the
only
makaf
at
is
six.
batal.
I said the case of a sixth, but specifically because when the case of the Mecca is batal, it's even harder to be Michael. The Mecca, there's a bittul Mecca. There's no.
So it has to go back.
Yeah, it should be, but that's maybe a little more complicated in Hilchos Ohnaah. So I don't take the case of a sixth where the guy's supposed to be maxing the money. Okay, there's a very important Gemara. This actually has major ramifications in a lot of mechiras. This trial in the Gemara. So the Gemara says, let's say, well, what happens if a guy says, I'm going to sell you this thing, I'm not shein l'chal Ohnaah. You know, I'm telling you, I'm putting it in the contract. You cannot come back to me with Tainav Ohnaah. And is that good or is it not? That's machlokes Rav and Shmuel. Rav says it's masna. It's called masna mashkos v'teres Rav. So we turn on the AC. Is that what we're looking at? Okay, I'm good either. Open the windows on the AC. Oh no, you guys are good. Fine. I'm okay.
I'm okay. Anybody want
If not, the shirt always come off.
Sure, can I come?
on? You want on or not?
No, I'm good. I think we're good. Okay, so Amanashe L'Chana. Rav says Yesh Lo Ohnaah. It doesn't work. It's called Masa Mashkos V'Torah. The Torah says there's a law for being over Ohnaah. You can't be Masa Mashkos V'Torah. The same way you can't be Masna to someone to do some other law to them. I don't know, whatever. You know, you can't be Masa Mashkos V'Torah. I don't know cases coming to mind right now, but there's many cases of them. But Ribbis is this other category, right? Okay, yeah. So it's not called mashkos. Now, the Gemara, effective Gemara, what do you mean? Shitas Rabbi Yehuda, which we paskin like, is Amanas. Let's say shalotish mitenu shvius. Let's say I lend you money, and I say shvius is not going to mess. Shemitah is not going to mess with this halva, right? Even though there's a lot with the Torah, Shemitah is going to mess. Shemitah will not mess with this halva. Rabbi Yehuda paskins, it does work. It's mashkos with the Torah. The Torah says shvius is supposed to get rid of all halvas. So Rabbi Yehuda, b'darash a moment tonight kaim. Masmas goes to Torah is when you're trying to be masna on something else that's a dover shalisser. Like let's say a guy tells his wife, I'm divorcing you, I'm manasa you eat chazer or something like that. It's called masna b'chas Torah. Your tanai is batal. You can't. Your condition the get is chal.
Even if she does, it's still batal.
Yeah, she doesn't have to. The point is even better. The gets
even if she does, it's still batal.
Correct. And okay, depending on the case. But yes. So that's called Mashkash Torah. But by Davar Shem Moment, your Yehuda says Tanai Kayim. So effectively more, if Davar Shem Moment Tanai Kayim, why does Rav say by Ohnaah, there's no Davar Shem Moment Tanai Kayim? So after Rav, I'll tell you the chiluk. By Shvius, the guy knows what he's being Meichel. He's being Meichel the fact that Shvius, everything's on the table. Over here, Lo Yodeh de Kamoch, he doesn't know what is being Meichel. He doesn't. The guy just says, "I'm just telling you, whatever it is, you're accepting the sale as is." So the guy doesn't know. The guy doesn't know what he's being Meichel. Memela Rav says. There is a. That's how. Memela Rav says there is no. It doesn't work. There is Ohnaah, and the guy can whatever all did in Ohnaah. Now, there is a levush. Levush brings down this din. This din is paskin and Shulchan Aruch that if a guy says Ohnaah she'en l'chai Ohnaah, yesh lo Ohnaah Ohnaah schal. Zok to Levush because he's masna mashkasu b'tar. Correct that Achronim on Levush. Why are you saying mashkasu b'tar? The Gemara says there's no mashna mashkasu b'tar. It's because lo yoda dekamachol. It's because he doesn't know what he's being meichel. So why are you bringing the reason of masna al mashkasu b'tar? Now, if you're confused about this question, it's okay because it's a little bit. The answer is pretty obvious, and the Ksais and the Sivas both jump and they say the answer to defend what the Levush is saying. There's a big difference between the two of them. They defend the Levush and they say no, since it's layada de kamachal, so now it can't work b'taras b'chila. Why does Rabbi Yehuda say b'davar shalom tanai kayim? Because anything that has to do with a monetary thing, the other party can just be meichel. So since the other party has the control over it, even though the Torah said this should happen, but the other party has the control to be meichel it anyway, right? So mechila is just a way of saying you have control over mominus, right? And to be meichel, that gives you the power also to say forget the din for the Torah and let it blive like as if I'm being meichel of the thing. That's how he pashas understands.
So that's the opposite. That's the opposite of what we're saying which is.
What do you mean?
You're saying I'm taking away the ability to be meichel. I'm not taking away the ability. I'm saying Shemitah does come and
right.
be easing, and it's not being meichel. So
no, but you're being meichel. You're right. You're being meichel. No, you're being meichel. You're right to force me into mechila. That's what it is. I understand what you're saying, but the point is you have a right here. In Mominus, it's all about rights. So you have a certain right to say I'm out of this chayv. I'm good. The Torah says I'm good. You also have a right, since it's your moment, since it has to do with your money, you have a right to be meichel that and say, my zechus, I could be meichel your zechus. You can be meichel zechus. So I have the zechus that the Torah gave me to be matched with this chayv. I can be meichel.
Okay, what's the scenario? What's the scenario that you're bringing out? That you're meichel what? You're being meichel that you owe money?
No, you're being meichel. You're right to say I no longer owe money. The Torah gave you a right to say I no longer owe money. The Torah said Shvius is matched with this. And when anything that's moment of you to hold, I have control over it to the point where I can be meichel this close and say I'm getting out of it. But by no, I can't be meichel it.
You're saying that I no longer owe money. How? Why? I mean,
not that
no. I no longer have the right to say I don't have to pay you. The Torah gave me a right to say I don't have to pay you when Shvius hits. I'm being meichel that right to you. Right.
So you're saying, so I'm being meichel that right, that I still owe you.
Right, exactly. I'm being meichel the right to say I don't owe you.
You keep saying I believe.
So meaning that in the end, meaning Shias is not mishtamen on that because he has a right to do that.
Exactly.
So therefore, Shias is being nicer, but he says, "No, I don't want to."
Masha Enkin by another, the guy doesn't know what he's being meichel, so it's not a mechila. What's he giving up? You have to know what you're being meichel to be meichel. So he doesn't know. So he can't. So it's not a mechila. So zok the achreinim. What?
If he does know, then
well, we'll get to that. We're going to get to that soon in a second because that's where the important halacha comes in. But zok the achreinim, yeah. But okay, so now he's not meichel. But now what's the problem? The guy made a tanai that the guy made a tanai in this. Why isn't the tanai chal? You're right. It's not a mechila. But let the tanai be chal. It's dinei tanoim. Elamai because it's masha mashkos b'ter. It just, the point is the point that Achronim are making is that when there's no mechila, it now reverts back to the regular rule of masna masha kasabatar. But there's a big difference in the way they say it with the nafkamina between the two of them. And this is a little bit of a lamdish point. So that's how I'll try to explain it clearly. But the yesh lachar like this. What is the pshat in Rabbi Yehuda? When Rabbi Yehuda says, al manashlo tishvatenu shviyas works. What is the pshat of that? Is it the pshat? It's a straight up mechila. It's a straight up mechila that b'taras mechila works, and when there's no mechila, like I said, it reverts now to being just a maskas of a Torah. Or no, it's the part like this: the tanai darish hab'mammon is tanai kain. That's what Rabbi Yehuda says. But darish hab'mammon, the tanai is a good tanai. The fact that you have control, it's your mominus. The Torah allows you some semblance of control. Mitzvahs are not in your jurisdiction to decide when I'm doing mitzvahs or not doing mitzvahs. Mominus, even though the Torah lays out certain rules for the proper justice system in terms of mominus, but at the end of the day, it's about you, and you can decide. You can decide what to do, and therefore you can make a tanai in it. You can make any condition, even connected with the right the Torah gave. Tanai is chal. But Elamai, so what's the Gemara saying? If Tanai b'momen is chal, but the point is though, at the end of the day, yeah, the Tanai is chal. But the guy also has to be meichel, meaning you can say for now until tomorrow, yes, I made a Tanai in this sale that you said Ohnaah, that you said there's not going to be Ohnaah. And if you do come and be Tevei Ohnaah, then what? If you do come and be Tevei Ohnaah, the mecher should be batal. It should be a bittul mecher. It should be a bittul sale. The sale is conditional on you not being Tevei Ohnaah. When you're Tevei Ohnaah, the sale is batal. What allows me to say you can't be mevatel the sale? That's the question. You understand?
How does that work if you do it by Shemitah? Like if you come back and
So,
go,
right.
I'm not ready.
So
to
the
be
point,
Michael.
so that's exactly the point. How does it work by Shemitah? Because there's a second step to it. The Tanai is Chal, and then there's a second step that you were Michael, the fact that you're not going to be match with it. By saying I'm an Ashlo Shotu Shetenu Shavias, and you accepting that, you're first of all accepting the conditional halva, right?
Okay.
And you're also being Michael the right to come back and do that.
So
So you're doing right because here it's lo yad demachal. So the second step doesn't count. The first step of Tanai counts.
What happens if he says I am doing Ohnaah, but you're not going to be able to come back at the star thing, or you can't come back and.
The guy says, you didn't tell me how much or not. Since I didn't know.
And if he did know, then
If he said it exactly, then we'll get yes. That's a halacha that we'll get to in a second. When he does know, it is chal. But if he doesn't know, if the guy just says, "I'm telling you, just sign this," see, read this. It says, "I'm not sign it." The guy says, "Sure, no problem." Then he comes back. He's like, "I didn't know what you were talking about," right? So you understand there's a big difference between the two. In one case, we're saying there's no din that the Tanai is chal. There is no din that by moment Tanai is chal. It's just a halacha that the guy is Michael the right to national shavias, and that's how it works. Now the guy does know he's being Michael. There's nothing. The second way to learn is that the Tanai is chal. The Tanai b'moment is chal. That's Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. That's his lashon. Davar sheb'moment Tanai is chal. You just need the secondary step of mechila to then say, okay, so let him be mavatal the mechira and say, you're right, we made the sale conditional. I'm going against the condition of the sale, let the sale be batal. That's why you need the mechila to say you can't just be mavatal the mechira. So what's an afkamina? Let's say in this case, and this is a machlekes between the k'tzais and the sivas, this case. A guy says, Al-manas that the shein l'chayil no. Now it turns out it was exactly a sixth, right? So the halacha is, there is or no here. So the guy comes back and says, I want to keep the sale, but I'd like my $5 back. You overcharged me $5, give it back to me, right? The guy says, no, if you're coming back to me, I want to just be mavatal the sale. The guy says, what do you mean? It's exactly a sixth. A sixth, the halacha is you can't be mavatal the sale. A sixth, the halacha is the sale stays, you give me back my $5. So give me back my $5. But he says, no, but we made a Tanai here. And b'davar sheb'mammon, the Tanai is chal, right? And therefore, and the Tanai is chal, and therefore, if you're coming back, the Tanai was chal, so now you have to be mavatal the mechira. You're going against the condition of the sale. The sale was conditional, and you're going against it. So what's halach in that case? The Ksai says in that case, the Meicher could say bitul mechira. Because he holds like this pshat. But davar sheb'mammon, the Tanai is kayim. You are. There is a good condition here. So when the guy comes back and says, "I like my Ohnaah back. I like my $5," you say, "Okay, now you're breaking the condition of the sale."
It's a good time.
Huh?
It's a very good time.
Yeah, but the Nesiva says no. There's no such thing. There is no Tanai here. When the Gemara is saying lo yada de gemachol, the guy doesn't know he's being Michael, so there's nothing. So now it's masha mashkasa b'tayr. Okay, you like the Ksais?
All right.
No problem. It's a geshmak machlekes.
You're really messing the Moshe. The Moshe can't get anything out of it.
Okay, but now I want to get to the other case that a bunch of people asked, because like I said, this is very important. So the halach is the Gemara says the Gemara says that even in Rav Shita that says Amanash ein l'chayo no, there still is Ohnaah. Zok the Gemara kan bestam kan b'mefarish. It depends if the guy just said it. If the guy just said it stam Amanash ein l'chayo no, then there's still Ohnaah. But if the guy is mefarish that there is Ohnaah here, then it's a good mechila. So how much does he have to be mefarish? Exactly. What does he have to say?
What if he's known as a guy who
It's really weird, but whatever.
What if he's known as a guy who overcharges and you sign the start? Like he's known. You signed this because he's an overcharger.
What you need to say is going to answer your question, I think. Hold on, let's see first. It's something to get every sale of a house. This comes up. This type of chart. I understand. I'm saying, hold on one second. No, I'll tell you what I mean by that in a second. If you tell your friend conditional that there's no Ohnaah, there's still Ohnaah. What does that mean? He doesn't know how much there is to be Michael. The ain sorich lo fine. Avol b'mefarish ein lo Ohnaah. But if he explains himself clearly, there is no Ohnaah. Ketzad. What does he have to explain? Moicher sh'amlu kech chayfetz sh'ani noisen l'cha b'masayim. This chayfetz I'm about to sell you for $200. Yodeyani, I know she'eino shavel l'mei. I know it's only worth $100. Al menashe l'cha anei moichel, but I'm selling it to you. Al menashe your moichel l'dinei Ohnaah. Then ein lo Ohnaah. So zok the nice kelim Shulchan Aruch, the Sma says based on the Shulchan Aruch, it's before you have to say exactly how much Ohnaah is there. Just giving a general, there is Ohnaah. whatever. Don't worry about it. I'm overcharging you a few bucks, and it turns out $100. You say I'm overcharging you a lot, and it turns out to be $100. That's not enough to buy mechila. You have to tell them exactly how much it is. I don't know if you're off by a cent. Let's say, I don't know. It could be there's a little leeway if you're off mamish by a little bit. I'm not sure, but the point is you have to be mafarish enough that it's in the what.
You have to be specific.
You have to be specific.
It's very hard. By the way, it's a very hard thing to do because within the market, you have from this price to that price.
So it's a very good point. We discussed it at length.
Any market,
we discussed it at length last time. The market is dictated by the ends. You go by the ends, but it has to be within a roiv and a normal amount. So if the range of this product is from $80 to $120, you're going above 120 is what we're talking about. So you have to tell them, I know this ranges from about 120, and I believe that's the point where Yehuda was coming before, that you're off by a couple dollars. I believe the range is 80 to 120. It turns out we did a super extensive study, and it turns out the range was only to 118. So you're off by $2. I would imagine that's okay.
But in the cases we're going to have just one person. If your cases there, you have, let's say, from 100 to 400, there are cases where you'll see huge.
If there is,
price.
right? If there is, then that would be the market. It would be fine. It could be those places. It could be those types something that doesn't even have a market. We also discussed this last time. We discussed your tequila bottles and then there's something. Right. We discussed things that don't even have markets.
Called me and said, "Come over."
Right. But anyway, okay. This halacha is also paskin by mekach tois. That if I tell you mekach tois and Ohnaah are very connected, but they're different. Ohnaah is in the shavius of the thing. I'm overcharging with the shavius. Mekach tois is like the thing has a mum in it, or it's defective, whatever. The house, something's broken in the house.
I asked about the lemon.
Right, exactly. That's a mekach tois, and that a lot of the dinim are connected, but also a lot of them are not. Anyway, but this halacha is one that does travel over to mekach tois. When we say by mekach tois, also, if you want to make a guy be moichel the mekach tois, you have to be mafarish exactly what it is.
That's not mekach tois.
What?
That's not a mekach tois.
I understand. So that's what I'm saying. That's what you have. But in order to get out of mekach tois, you have to be mafarish. Until you're mafarish exactly what it is, it would be a mekach tois. So just like everyone is somewich on as is sales, you're going to buy a house, right? What are they doing? Like, they don't know everything that's going on in their house, everything that's broken. They're going to write as is. You're buying it as is. Every contract is going to say as is, and then whatever it is. You do an inspection, and you're done. I know your inspection can't uncover everything. Everyone knows that. It is what it is. Too bad. And maybe they're even lying about something. Maybe they know something is wrong with the house. But it doesn't matter. They wrote in the star as is, and that's it. They made a broad thing. The question is in halacha that shouldn't be enough. Really, halacha shouldn't even be farish. Really, it's a very good question. Bottom line is it's a complicated sugya over there. It's like more for like a whole, I don't know, maybe like a day's learning and like a shuas night type thing. The sugya it would be another option just in case of Erevin bums. But
You should write it down. Second option.
Yeah, we could do. They want to do Memorial Day learning and shiur. We could do that. They want to do a Memorial Day learning shiur driving range. Who's in? Yeah, okay.
Driving range?
Oh.
Yeah, no.
I think I've
Not like driving range.
I'll drive.
Yeah. Huh?
We did it last year. We did it last year. Well, not
Without the learning. Sure, we did it last year, just without the learning. But I think Yehuda Hurwitz and what you were talking about, maybe davening, breakfast, a little learning, shiur, driving. And that's a day. And then pizza. It keeps going.
Get it together.
All right, so I have to work on it. Yeah. I can't even think Pasha was gonna be so tired, but.
And it was a major success.
Memorial Day is like literally right after the shows.
It's Monday, right after shows. But yeah, okay, whatever. Well,
You gotta do it.
I'm sure I can figure something out so we can learn and say a little shiur. But anyway, okay.
Walk through Sunday.
What?
Walk through Sunday.
Exactly. And I got bar mitzvah next Shabbos. Good times.
Fun time of year.
Okay, so anyway, it's a major shayla how to get out of it. Really, honestly, bottom line is the way to get out of it is that there's this concept called minig in Choshemish, but there's a concept called minig medina being mavad halacha, and it applies in certain cases. Choshemish it doesn't apply in other, and it's one of these that, like you say, the minig is to accept that as is good enough, and whatever we do it, but yeah, it's iffy.
That's how I get away with what I charge in my fines agreements.
This is
That will fall under what he, what's, I forgot what was said, that goes,
You wanna hear that?
a tzaddik goes both ways. Who's machmer both ways, right? Like what is it? Minig Yisrael, minig Medina, like, but it says like as a math person, don't like that falls.
This is
under
a
that.
different minig Medina is not even minig Yisrael. Like
I mean,
minig
okay.
Medina is like just like civil, like the way things go in the market.
Right,
It's a
and
civil
it-
thing
it
more
is-
than
it's
min-
one of the,
right.
it is what it is.
Right.
But if that
Um,
person doesn't do it, and
yeah.
it's like, we have no choice. This is what it is.
This is only for Yidden?
what?
This whole thing about the Mechira.
That you need to be on fire shit?
Yeah.
Well, by God, we're going to be more Meshul by Dina de Malchusa.
So that's why, so therefore an as-is contract will work anyway.
Probably, yeah. Okay, I just wanted to have a few minutes left. I wanted to mention that there's another chelik to the lav of Ohnaah. I really started because of Parshas Bahar, so we're a few weeks away. Now we're 1 week after. So technically, I guess we're still within the week. So there's another lav that comes out of the parsha. The pasuk says twice, "L'sonish as amisai." So the Chazal said the second one is for a concept called Ohnaah's Tavarim. Besides this, Ohnaah's moment,
What were the words and what do they mean?
"L'sonu ishas amiso." You should not cause. Ohnaah is really causing pain. It's an inui. L'sonu ishas amiso. You're not supposed to cause pain, not just with Ohnaah's moment, but not to cause it with words as well. So what are examples like this? You're not allowed to say to another yid things that are going to cause him pain. Ke'ev and sar. The difference of ke'ev and sar is exactly. I'm not sure right now. Two different kinds of pain. If he has no koyach to hold back from it. They say, Ketzad, what is the case? Let's say guys about tshuva, and you tell him, oh, remember, like people like really, they know how to dig, they know how to really hit you where it hurts, and they even do it with a smile on their face, like remember good times when you used to be off the derech and doing all sorts. It wasn't those great times, and they know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to, to maybe even publicly they do it to put you down. Or hoyu bar love. This is it gets back to my Shabbos Hagadol drasha for those of you who were there. Let's say you're sick. Of the great friends of Iyov. What did they say to Iyov? You're obviously you did something wrong. You should be maybe doing tshuva. And the Mefarshim point out, even though they held they were doing something, they had a chiyuv to give Iyov musar. Iyov was being miranin achar midaisu shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He was saying, I don't know why Hashem's punishing me this way. Like I've done nothing wrong, and he was, I don't get what's happening here. Like where the mishpat is, and they had a achrayas to teach him a lesson. But the point, he was in pain. He had just lost his children. He had lost his life, everything, and they just were completely insensitive to what he was going through. That's part of the lav midrash of Ohnaah's Tavarim. Or let's say, there's another case. Ro chamor mevakshim tvur. You see these guys they're looking for grain. They need grain for like, I'll go to Target. Target's got tons of grain, and like it's a practical joke, really, I guess. But the point is that you're being bitzar these guys for no reason. You're just like, I don't know what exactly. It's less of like a hurtful dig in this case. It's more just like you're being annoying to these guys for no reason. It's nichol in the lav. This is the most famous case of Ohnaah's Tavarim that people ask about. You can't tell a store owner how much is this and you have no intention of buying it. And this comes up very often, especially nowadays with online selling. So a couple things just to it. It's the point is what's the point? What do you cause him pain? It causes him because there's a certain expectation of a sale. He's excited, he's getting something, and really in the back of your mind you have no intention of ever making the sale. So and then when he's disappointed, you're causing him a pain over it.
So who said that you're asking that there's no price on it? So you're asking for a price, and then you're asking your friend if maybe it's a good price for his son. So how do you know that?
No, it's more the cases. It's one case where you have no intention of buying it.
You really will not buy.
Someone goes into the store, they know they're going to buy it on
Right.
Amazon, but they want to see what the store is trying
They want to just price match for Amazon, or they have a friend who does. They want to just go into it. They have no intent. If you might buy it if it has a good price, that's totally
In
not a
essence,
problem.
it's only by you.
There's only by a year. It's also it depends. I mean, just people want to know if you walk into a Sfarim store and just browse the Sfarim, is not Ohnaah's Tavarim. That's not Ohnaah's Tavarim. That's business. That's how we have to go.
That's the idea of this farm sitting on the shelf.
Yeah, no one. I mean, maybe they don't want you reading the whole sefer. That's a different story. But that's not a Ohnaah's Tavarim. But just because you're saying, even if you ask the guy a price, it's not. If you sit there, mamish, asking him, you're checking for your Amazon, or you're checking for your friend's store, whatever, and you sit there, mamish, asking about a million things, that might be nichol Ohnaah's Tavarim. That's by an industry like Sfarim. Now, it could be there are other things that are taka, a little more. You call a guy up for for a big loan. You can make a lot of money off of this, and you run him the numbers, and you have no intention of taking this. You're really just doing that for information. That certainly could be. You got a woman who's selling shaitels. It's every sale is a big deal. Is a nice amount of money for them. You go in and you start pretending like you're buying the thing.
It's hard to know.
No intention of
because
buying. That could be.
sometimes You think you're
You
not
have to really be careful.
interested, but then when you hear the price, you're interested.
So I think that's fine. If you're genuine, on all these clauses, the Gemara says after this thing, so it says v'yireisam elekecha. What does it say v'yireisam elekecha? Any halacha that's moser l'leiv, that you got it, you know what you're doing, what you're not doing. It says v'yireisam elekecha. That's what I'll say. So it really, if you really have, it might have gone.
Window shopping, that's why I'm window shopping. If I go into the store, I'm window shopping because I like looking at nice things.
So it depends. If the industry
So that's
knows that,
part-
and that's part of good business, so that's part of good business. That's not. I don't think just because you're looking
window
at
shopping is exactly that. You have no intention to buy.
car dealerships. Car dealerships know people come in. They just like they go into car dealerships.
It's a 3% close rate or whatever the
Right.
percent
They
close
know.
rate
They
is.
know that people. They know
The
that's
truth
what.
is that it's actually better for them because when somebody walks into the store, I've seen this in Manhattan. I walk into the store. The minute I walk in or walk out the store, people walking by see me and they go in to check the store.
So that's good. So that's
creates-
fun.
that
That's
creates
creating business.
foot traffic.
You crushed, and that's not enough.
Right.
That
Nailed it.
That should be the opposite then. Even
So
if
that's
I am
good.
not
I think that's not right.
I'm giving them business by.
You have to know what's true. You have to know. There are lines to be drawn, and you have to. The Gemara says, "God knows Tavarim, Geisman knows Mammon." Nos Tavarim is even worse than Nos Mammon. This is where that Gemara with Rabbi Miller and Rabbi Lezer, the whole Maisa comes in because of the Nos Tavarim that they caused him. I just want to point out one other thing that's important. I don't really have clarity on this, but it's a very important point. There's another concept that I'm sure you've heard of in yeshivas that's paskin in this simon in Shulchan Aruch called Genevas Das. There's a big difference between Genevas Das and Nos Tavarim. Genevas Das is even by a guy, and Nos Tavarim is not. And Nos Tavarim is only by a yid. Genevas Das, you are chai for Genevas Das even by a guy. What are the cases of Genevas Das discussed in Shulchan Aruch? So, you can't trick people. You're not allowed to be manipulative and be advantageous of certain things. What's the word I'm looking for? Whatever. Okay. Let's say there's a mum in your mekach. You have, and the first, it's a mum that doesn't lower the price of it. It's a mum the price is a good price, but he doesn't realize that there's a mum. You have to tell him. You're supposed to tell him that there's a mum there. And if he's a guy, you shouldn't sell him even basar nevela b'cheska shchuta. Basar nevela that's maybe not as good as basar shchuta. You should not sell him b'cheska stat. Also, ve'en lignov dasavrius b'dvarim. What does it mean? You look like you're doing the guy a big favor. The example that the Shulchan Aruch gives is you're always inviting a guy for Shabbos meal. You know he's not coming. Always inviting him to look like a great guy. You're getting favor.
Yes, though.
Right. Maybe one that says, but you can find other examples in your life. But the point is, you're doing something. You're ingratiating yourself to people. They're not. They're not said, but you're buttering them up. And you're buttering them up to get something from them. That's called Genevas Das. You're actually, it's different than a Nos Tavarim. A Nos Tavarim is not, you didn't steal anything from them. You just caused them some pain. That's Nos Tavarim, that's only by Yid. Genevas Das is, you actually manipulated their Das. And you took something, not maybe something actual, that's tangible.
I had a word for it just
but you maybe set them up for something later.
You find you use it to your benefit. You find a issue by them, and you use it to your benefit. What's the word? Not manipulate. There's what?
No,
I said that, but there's.
I'm not 100% clear myself what the chinuch is, but there's an important nafkamina. It's important to know the chinuch because one applies by a guy and one does it.
Extort a weakness.
Extort it. Yeah, that's another good word for it.
One of the cases
It's like
also
weakness, right?
someone got someone just bought, let's say, a car and you're like, how much you pay for it? Even and you tell them I paid this much for it, much less.
I would think that's more in Nos Tavarim. That's more pain. That's
So
like just causing pain to
tell the
someone.
guy I can get it for much less. That hurts.
That's pain, right? That hurts. I think that's
pain.
I would think that's a Nos Tavarim. I don't think that's Genevas Das.
I know where it falls in.
Huh?
I've heard that case before. I know where it falls in.
Real question, if I convince one of my merchants that they're getting a good deal, and they're really happy about it, I'm gonna ask them.
And it's a bad deal. It's not a good. It's not a great way to. Okay, we can talk about it. We can talk about it. Another time.
We have to have this conversation.
Yeah. Okay.
So you saying
Anyway, yeah.
a salesman is doing that bad stuff?
It's not a Yiddish way to live.
Not being a salesman.
Being a salesman is not a Yiddish way to live.
From salesmen are.
That sell people on things that are incorrect.
That's a job.
Incorrect.
No,
What?
their job's to
You can
sell.
pump something up. I can pump how great Kahalbas Mordechai is, from now until tomorrow, or whatever to somebody.
It is.
It is.
You're not-
Yeah.
You can never.
If I'm
oversell
pumping
it.
how quiet it is during Kriyas Torah, then I'm just
You can never oversell it.
right? Everything's relative. So yeah, we're getting there. Yeah, you can't be tricking people. It's a shout out to the Ritva and the Rambam where the lav of Geneva's das is. The Ritva says it's lav of Geneva mamish. It comes from it's a drudge from Geneva. The Rambam says it's.
Have it out. I can't have it out.
Okay.
Write it down before you forget it.
The Rambam says that it is